We had to scrap and claw for three of the 4 victories. So this was a lot more difficult than it may have appeared. So we're happy to move on and happy to get a little rest before we have to play again. We'll open it up.
Gareth Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. And going along with the difficulty, there are going to be people who look at this and see a sweep, think it was easy. What made it so challenging, whether it was the things that the Blazers were throwing at you or the injuries siphoning off your manpower? How did you guys persevere?
Well, our guys they've been at this for a while. So they know how to win. They know how to come back from deficits. And when you get this deep in the playoffs, you're playing against the best teams in the league. And, this backcourt that you're dealing with McCollum and Lillard, it's a nightmare trying to stay in front of them. And you have to commit help. You have to have a 5-man defensive effort. And that leaves you vulnerable in areas. I thought tonight they did their best job of exposing those vulnerabilities. Myers Leonard was fantastic, and they did a really good job of moving the ball. They had 31 assists, and our defense was shaky tonight, but we turned it up in the fourth quarter and in overtime and got it done. But it was an uphill climb the whole way.
Hey, Steve. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. What did you think of the efforts of McKinney and Looney in overtime for you?
Well, I think they've both been fantastic all year. Looney has become one of our foundational pieces. He does this every single night. And I think one thing that we've seen in almost every series is as the game goes on and players get tired, Loon gets more and more rebounds. He just has a knack for the ball. Really long arms, great feel for the game. And so his rebounding, I think he had 14 tonight, bunch of offensive boards. Really a big key for us. And then, without Andre, we needed every ounce of effort from Alfonso. And, we didn't want to extend Sean Livingston's minutes. Played 21, which is already a high number. Up 3-0, going into tonight. So when we went overtime, we just decided let's give Zoe the minutes, and he came through in a big way.
Steve, Nick Friedel, ESPN. In this era, how would you put into context what it means to go to the NBA Finals for the 5th straight season?
I hope it doesn't go unnoticed or underrated. 5 straight finals hasn't been done since the 60s, since Bill Russell's Celtics. Hasn't been done for a reason. It's really, really difficult. And so I just can't say enough about the competitive desire of the group of players that we have here and the culture that they've built together. Playing together regardless of injury. We've had being without Kevin these last 5 games has put us in a really tough spot, and our guys stepped up in a big way. A couple of years back, we were without Steph for over a 2-year period. I think he missed like 12 playoff games, and we won 9 of them. So the group has a fiber to them where when guys go down, they find a way to come together and compete and win. Starts defensively. If you can defend at a high level in the playoffs, you always have a chance. But I just think the experience of winning titles helps you in these moments, and it helps you continue to move forward and come away with victories like tonight.
Again, Steph Curry averaged 36.5 points per game in this series. That's the most ever by any player in a 4-game sweep. He's never lost to Portland in the playoffs. 10-0. He really is leaves. In this run of 5 straight, he's really the hub.
And Curry will be asked, I'm sure, by us or somebody else, how different this team is from the previous 4 to go to the NBA Finals. Maybe the difference is truly an entire team. There's so much depth. Steve Kerr has used 7 different starting lineups in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. Much more on what we're all watching. Here's Chris Connolly. Steph Curry, kind enough to join us now from Portland after wrapping up the sweep of the Blazers. And as you know, Scott Van Pelt in this space likes to say he's not tired yet. Legler couldn't believe how many times you crossed the court in the fourth quarter in that one sequence before scoring the basket. You played every minute in the second half. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great, man. It's kind of one of those games where you just got to find a way to get it done, and everybody stepped up. We had a lot of injuries, but the opportunity in front of us to, win tonight, advance our fifth finals in a row, and just celebrate as a team. Hard-fought victory, man. Portland played amazing tonight, gave us everything we asked for, and obviously celebrating the win is big.
You mentioned the depth in the entire team. People are going to ask you for comparisons of the 5 teams going to the NBA Finals. Is that the biggest difference? Steve Curry using 7 different starting lineups. Is this the most depth you guys have had in this run?
It's kind of funny because early in the playoffs, people were talking about how slim our bench was because our top guys were playing so well and playing heavy minutes. And then the entire, narrative changes in this series where, obviously with KD out, DeMarcus out, now Andre out, you got to have guys step up. But we set the culture from the beginning of the season and at the beginning of this entire run that, everybody on the team, everybody that has a jersey on is going to help us win, whether it's a regular season game, a playoff game, or to clinch a Western Conference Finals. And, talking about that and actually believing it makes a series like this possible where everybody stays confident. Doesn't matter how many minutes you play, you step foot on the floor, you help us win, and tonight was a perfect example of that.
Hey, it's hard for coaches of championship teams to win Coach of the Year awards because everybody thinks, hey, you got the best players, you're supposed to win, we give it to somebody else. Tell me why Steve Kerr is so good, especially this year with the injuries, with the depth, with the tinkering of the lineup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be okay with that trade-off. Going for the big trophy versus Coach of the Year. But the entire staff, they're very collaborative in terms of everybody having input, but at the end of the day, he makes the decisions, and we roll with it. So sometimes we don't like him, sometimes we do. It's just part of the game. But at the end of the day, there's trust, and there's no coincidence why the culture we have here allows us to have the success that we do.
So what's the deal with getting behind by 15 every single game? Is that necessary part of your game? Does that drive you guys? Couldn't you play ahead the whole game?
We talk about we don't want to be in that situation, but there's talented teams all throughout this league, and Portland came out swinging tonight, just like they did game 2 and 3. And our first quarter tonight gave us an opportunity to withstand a couple of those blows, and then Myers Leonard had the night of his life. Dame and CJ got loose, a little bit, and they made plays. But at the end of the day, we know 48, 53 minutes, whatever it takes. There's still time for us to leave our imprint on the game. We never lose our composure or panic at all. It's just, got to buckle down and play the full game.
Hey, we'll let you get out of here after this one. Share the best exchange you had with Seth, either during the series or maybe after it.
His game 2 jinx on my free throw streak finally came and bit me tonight. He didn't say nothing tonight, but as soon as I missed it in the fourth quarter, I looked at him. It was just 2 games later. But we exchanged jerseys and our families are here. It's just unbelievable. And at the end of the game tonight, just getting to hug him and obviously congratulate him on a great series, but something that we'll remember for a long time. So I kept the jersey and be on my wall somewhere.
He was the one screaming about your travel late in that regulation. You know that, right?
He's been tattletaling on me since birth, so it's all good.
Thanks, Steph. We'll see you in the NBA Finals, pal.
Thank you.
Stephen Curry.
Yeah, breaking all kinds of records. He was
being swept.
Hats off to Golden State. They've shown how good they are, championship pedigree. We played them 3 really good games and couldn't get over the hump. But I think it was more of a demonstration of how good they are and how good they've been over the years, and they find ways to win. So it was a disappointing loss, but it was for me it was an outstanding season with the guys in the locker room are special, and it's been a special season. It's always tough to lose the last game of the year, but I couldn't be more proud of the group that we've had.
Not like Portland wasn't in the series. You know, it looks like you see the sweep.